If you are somebody who is interested in traveling more often and you're looking for a more affordable travel option, house sitting is probably a good fit for you. It is so much more affordable than the traditional travel options. So if you are interested in learning more, keep on watching. So this video is a reflection on my first year as a house sitter. I started house sitting as a way to travel full-time, work remotely, and live that whole digital nomad lifestyle. I was honestly really unsure about it in the beginning. It made me a little bit nervous. I first did a house sit short term. I did a weekend long house sit in a city that I had been before. It let me test it out to see if it was something that I actually liked. So I do house sitting through a service called Trusted House Sitters. It is the biggest house sitting website in the world. I really like it because everybody has to pay to join. And you might think, that seems like weird. Why would you pay to join a house sitting service? But I like it because it keeps out the spamminess. Everybody who is on the site is serious because of that barrier to entry. The house sits that you see on there, you know they're all legit, and from a homeowner's point of view, you know that the house sitters are legit because they've paid to actually get on this site. That being said, if you want a little discount to join Trusted House Sitters, I do have a discount code in the description box below. It's really a red flag for me early on if the person you are house sitting for makes you feel like they are just doing you a favor. I always want to feel like I am doing a favor for a friend and they are doing a favor for me by letting me stay there. It should really be clear about what their expectations are and what your expectations are. Don't feel like you are backed into a corner. And when I think about this past year, I definitely learned that the hard way. I am such a people pleaser. My first couple house sits were within the US. And I drove to them, so I didn't have to worry about getting a rental car or transportation at all. I just had to fill up my gas, and I have a really, fuel efficient car. It wasn't a huge deal. Since then, I've had quite a few house sits where the use of the owner's car is included, and if you don't have to pay for accommodation or transportation, your costs are so low. I've learned a lot about what to look out for with house sits. I think this is why it is so important to video chat with homeowners before you commit to a house sit. With emailing or texting or sometimes even calling, you don't get a really good feel for who they are. They don't get a good feel for who you are either. It really feels like you're talking to them one-on-one, and it's really just like an interview, which leads me to my next point. House sitting is really like applying for a job in a lot of ways. Some of these house sits that are in really desirable places, it's not uncommon for them to be 50 to 75 applicants. And when I first started house sitting, it was really hard for me to get house sits in those more desirable places. Something I've definitely learned is how important it is to have a really nice detailed profile, how important it is to have a lot of photos, a lot of references. Everybody always says, we will be so easy to reach, we'll just be a phone call away, but things happen and you can't always get through to people. So if you have a guide filled out with all the information, you've reviewed it thoroughly, you make sure you understand it before you begin the house sit, it just makes everything way smoother. Animals get in fights and animals pass away. Hated this reality. This is another reason why you want to make sure you go through this guide with the homeowner, and you really want to make sure that they have realistic expectations for you. It's made me a lot more confident in myself. It has been such a push myself out of my comfort zone experience, whether that is to put myself out there and meet people if I want to have people, to do stuff with, and also to deal with those difficult situations alone. I got beyond screwed over by this rental car guy. It was just so miserable. I felt so uncomfortable. I felt like completely out of my depth. I felt like I was going to pass out the whole time. Looking back on it, it kind of was an empowering experience for me. Definitely since then, I have felt a lot more comfortable sticking up for myself. One of my big goals for this year has been to only take on house sits that are longer term. I was so fixated on going to as many places as possible during this first year. I want to feel like I'm really truly living in places versus just going on temporary vacations and spending all this money in airfare, basically. It's really an opportunity to stay in places longer term than you ever would with any other form of travel, because it's just so much more affordable than all the other options. I really can't think of anything else that is anywhere near as affordable. I mean, I guess living in a van or staying in a hostel, but I don't really think that if you are wanting to travel internationally, you can't really go the van route. You know, staying in a hostel is always such a great way to meet people, but it's not necessarily the easiest way to feel comfortable long term and feel like you have your own space long term, I guess. It really feels so much more comfortable to have a couch and a kitchen, laundry, and a whole separate room to be able to sleep in and have like that homey feeling. Before I started doing long-term house sits, I was so conditioned to think that the answer was to always pack really, really light. It's not always the answer. Right now I'm in Alaska and I was so fixated on bringing only one suitcase, but it would have been so much more beneficial for me to bring 2 suitcases. I have felt like I have no clothes, and especially the clothes that I did pack, they are so winter weather specific. But I'm here for probably 4 months. It's kind of undefined. It's a special situation right now. But I really wish that I would have overpacked for this situation versus underpacking. It's so important to put yourself out there in a new location from the get-go. Maybe it's really just with my personality, but I notice when I get somewhere, if I give myself a few days of just kind of relax, catch up from the jet lag type of time, it's really easy to kind of put yourself in that bubble and not go out there and make friends. As soon as I get to a house sit is when I need to immediately start trying to connect with people. I need to immediately start going and doing things, because if not, I will hole up. It's all about balance from the beginning, because you're not solely on a vacation, you're not solely there to just live, and I think figuring out how to balance the two of those has been really key for me. When we were in Bali, it was just so overwhelming, the amount of things that I wanted to see and I wanted to experience. And I was with my sister and one of my good friends at the beginning of that trip, and we were all just kind of like in this crazy tourist mode and wanting to see everything possible, and that's great, and I understand why we wanted to do that, but it can be really hard then to, after having established that kind of tourist routine, to then like flip over to a normal routine. I've noticed it's a lot better to, from the get-go, start off like a normal week. Keep normal work hours, keep normal doing things hours, reserve a lot of your tourist experiences for the weekends, for the after work hours, because otherwise you really get into an unhealthy pattern. I have house sit in a few places that I had actually visited before, and having that experience going as a tourist and then now going as a house sitter, it showed me 2 sides of a city. You kind of get the feeling of living like a local, staying like a local, that you really don't get out of these traditional tourist experiences. I went to Scotland a few years ago with one of my good friends, and we did a lot of touristy things. It was really a short trip, but I went back to Scotland this past summer and, you know, was in a really residential neighborhood, and I was watching a boxer, and it was just, I love boxers. They're like my favorite type of dog. And you know, being an American, I have never had that experience of being able to go everywhere with my dog. I mean, I love that experience. It was so much fun, and it really just made me feel like I was a Scottish lassie for a short while. If you are an animal lover, it can be really hard to say goodbye to this new animal that kind of feels like your pet by the end of the house sit. But it's also really great because their person gets to come back, and especially if you can see that reunion between the homeowner and the pet, you know, it just makes you feel happier about leaving. It doesn't make you feel as sad about the goodbye. I don't know, it's hard. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you have enjoyed this video, and please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Also, if you have any suggestions about what you want to see from future videos, please let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see another one of my videos, check out this one next.